Hey, sexy lady, bit of sugar, and then we pour our black goodness. There it is, my friends, a beautiful black gold, the Texas tea. Patriots United, welcome back. Platinum Mimi, welcome back. Isn't it always lovely to see all you buggers? Love to see all my favorites. Native Graffiti, hey, Jed Diva. Always a pleasure. CM, Cosro, Mimi, Xro. So, for those of you that have read my book, which seems to be increasing by the day, you will know that the book, the first part of the book is written by my ex-girlfriend, actually. That's how it starts off. And it's before she becomes my girlfriend. And she is, you need the book. You can download it. Title tease. You can download it. I think from Barnes and Noble now. Barnes and Noble and Amazon. It's an audio, like not audio. What do you call it? Yeah, it's like $5 or whatever. $4 or $5. Yeah. You're welcome. Anyway, so the book starts off with her and it's describing Jamil, which is myself, obviously, and how he rescues her from the domestic violence situation with her mother, and all of the stuff that I'm able to do to rescue her and get her out of the state, and then set up false trails for the family. Turns out the mother was in some sort of, I don't want to say it because it's not good. Let's just call it some sort of mafia. So she sent people to my family's house. She sent people after my brother, and they ended up breaking my brother's eye socket and doing some harmful things, and got him in hospital. It was sort of funny because my brother was bleeding and stuff, and the ambulance were trying to put him in they were trying to chuck him in the ambulance, and he's like, "I've got to put my bikes away." You look studly today, just saying, "Oh, thank you." Okay. Yeah, so my brother's like pushing the bikes into his garage because he doesn't want anyone to hurt his bikes. He's got blood coming all the way down his face. My poor brother. Anyway, the police asked me if I got his number plate, and I said I did, and of the perpetrators, and I handed the cop the physical number plate because, of course, as the autist, when they say get the number plate, I went to the car, grabbed the number plate, and ripped it off and gave it to the police. So because they said give me the number plate, right? So that's what the autist brain naturally does, right? So I wasn't trying to be funny. It just happens that the autist brain is naturally funny. So you'll see these things. Now, after rescuing her and setting up the false leads, and after 6 months, I was able to get her, some sort of new identity. Yeah. Oh, Native Graffiti. Hello again. Anywho, it turns out that my brain thought, and it's funny because it's a mix of autism and being a male. So I just think it's like just being even a worse type of male. So I thought that would be enough. You watched Rain Man. That's funny. Hey, Rain Man reminds me of my grandfather, the man who taught me to count cards. So I learned this new skill, by the way. It's a very beautiful movie. Maleism. Yeah. What was I going to say? I've learnt now not only to count cards, but to count what's in everyone else's hands as well. Yes, autism is different in males and females, yeah. So I thought in my head that would be enough to keep the relationship. And I thought, okay, I don't have to do anything else because I've now showed you how much I care for you. We're done. Now, I'm sure a lot of women and probably a lot of guys here too are laughing their ass off at me, because I remember after explaining that to my friends on Periscope initially, they were laughing their ass off at me. Because it turns out, and this was the first girlfriend I'd ever had that lasted like longer than you're a good man. Sometimes. No one is truly good but the Father alone, right? Not that I believe it, but I like the saying. Atlantic City when you get here, yes. Ernie Banks is dangerous, mate. So it turns out that women want in a relationship anyway, in general. You got me your soft cover on Friday, I will pass the book along. Oh, how awesome is that? So it turns out that you have to go on dates continuously with the woman that you love to remind them that you love them. Now that goes against every part of my being, because it's like, if I go to the store and buy milk, I don't have to keep going back every week and paying for the milk that I already bought. Right? That's in my head. Now, I know I've said that before, and people, like guys and girls, are going to lose their shit at me because I'm thinking purely logically, and I know that relationships are mostly emotional. And against my husbands too. Yeah. So I realize now I see the relationship differently. I realize that there is an emotional energy requirement for women that needs to be topped up. Yeah. And it's like they use that energy in showing you their love. And so you have to fill up that energy. Hey. I don't mean that in a sexual sense, which is included, but in a broader sense, I mean that they need to be reminded of but you'll run out of milk. Exactly. Native Graffiti brings it on. So, Love Tank is a real thug thing. I like Love Tank is a real thug. Yeah. Yeah, the Love Tank. So, see, people already know about this stuff. I didn't know anything about this. So, for example, she was with me for 3 years, right? And what happened was, in the end, she went over to her home country. Well, I mean, she grew up her whole life in Australia, but she went over to her country to see her parents, and she never came back. So she came back to Australia, but when she did, she never told me, and I've never seen her again. So it's been 1 year. It's been almost a year. It's 9 months actually, 9 months. So I thought I'd reminisce and think about it today. So 9 months ago, she went overseas and never came back. And at the time, I was devastated because I couldn't understand why that was happening. But then I've been piecing it together over the last 9 months. And I realize that, for example, I'll give you a situation. If anyone goes to my Gab Smacked on Facebook, hello, Erica Jazz, long time. If anyone goes to my Gab Smacked on Facebook, you will see that there's a photo, 3 years. There's a photo of me at a wedding, and I'm doing my mathematics at the wedding. Your time. Time for a rebirth. That's exactly right, fun guy. What's autism got to do with it? Well, I'm trying to, the rapture. So, for example, high functioning autism makes you even more blind to understanding the dynamics of a relationship than if I was just a regular dumbass guy. So I'm even worse than a dumbass. Thanks. Forget I've been milking that for years, Ernie. Yeah, so the whole concept of a relationship, right, for the autist was ridiculous. I thought, you like being by yourself. I do like being by myself. I do. And that used to bother her quite a fair bit. The clues were there, so that is why you are single. You know, I was on a dating show once called That's Why You're Single. No kidding. It's on the internet if someone can find it. That's Why You're Single. And I lost because the girl wanted to date me before the end of the show. Yeah, I like to be alone, yeah. So, I'm trying to think of what happened. There were lots of, there's a clues that you guys would have seen, and you're not autistic. That's the thing. This is one of those things where my autism just exacerbated what would have actually happened anyway. So, as I said, if you go to Facebook, you go to Gabsmack, you'll see me doing my maths at a table. And I thought that was really awesome. I thought something was wrong with you. What? I'm surprised. You don't strike me as that, Erica Jazz. So it turns out that doing mathematics at the table doesn't mean I'm autistic. No. I can be a moron, or like my own company, or you know, whatever, any of those things. You don't have to be autistic. It's just that I happen to be as well. I like being alone. Humans take too much energy. That's introversion, but yes. Wow, when you kiss them, they stay kissed. Anyway. Yeah, so it turns out that doing mathematics at the table and ignoring her the whole night was not something that was conducive to a positive relationship. Now, I didn't know this until later. You feel people. I wish I could feel some people and get away with it. Yeah. I'm going to hide some of these chats for a sec because I'm getting so distracted. Sorry. That's when you got autism, ADHD, PTSD, you got the whole cocktail. One of them is going to work against you at some point. So I'm at the table and I was so excited because I was able to solve these maths problems, and I was writing them on serviettes because I didn't have any paper, and I asked the waitress for a pen. And it's because of me writing on that table I was able to get a perfect score in my last mathematics subject for uni. But I didn't realize until I think 4 months ago. So I sent a message to my ex-girlfriend 4 months ago, and I said, I just realized I should have spent less time with mathematics and more with you. And she said, well, at least you topped the uni. So she has a pretty good sense of humor. So yeah, that's a bit of a shame. Now, there were other issues, but what I've learned now in a relationship, I think, and I'm just talking out loud, I'm trying to figure this stuff out, but I think that humans have this emotional refilling that's required. Sort of like if you have a car and it needs fuel to move. So you can't just buy the car and be done with it. No, you got to then service it and run it and make sure it's fueled and insured, and it's such an expensive freaking process. I had no idea. And now that I know that, I'm like, screw this shit. Yeah. So, and it's so expensive to maintain, it's almost inefficient. So I'm starting to think to myself, why are we doing this? There has to be something I'm not seeing. What is it that I am not seeing? So the other thing that pissed her off, and I'm trying to put her in the best light possible, because she is really a really nice person. She really is. And she stuck around for 3 years, right, waiting for me. Apparently, I didn't know any of this until afterwards, by the way. So that's one thing that pissed me off. I wish I knew that before. But you know what life is like. Life gives you the experience after the test. It's like, oh, you failed the test, cool. Now I'll teach you about how you could have passed it. I'm like, thank you, man. You know, thanks for that. That's why if there is a God, he or she is a joker. They're like Loki or Trump or one of those people. Yeah. Anyway, so I didn't find out till afterwards that... So anyway, so here's something that pissed her off even more. So she would beg me for years for the whole relationship to go out and dance with her. Now, if you read my book, you will know that I'm actually a very good dancer, right? And I show you how I became that, because everyone knows that my actual superpower is to imitate anything or anyone. That's what I can do, right? So I watched a dancer, then I imitated them and became a really good dancer. So she didn't know this until 2.5 years into the relationship, where after her begging me, I took her to a wedding that I was invited to. So I went there, and right at the end, she finally convinced me to dance. In stores. In stores now. That sounds like a movie called My Husband Dances With Me. In stores now. Complex entities, yeah. But they're complex in a way that, like, you know, they're not complex like the mathematics and physics that I teach. They're complex in a way that I can't see. I feel like a doofus. You know, I just feel like a retarded shit because I just have no idea what's going on. And it's like I can't even learn from it. So then I took her up to the dance floor. And not only did she realize that I was out dancing her, and she loved it, but then other people most can see, to be honest. Can't see. Oh, that makes more sense. I'm like, what? The actual guy that got married went up to my mum, and my mum told her, and not just that, but she heard it as well. You're not alone. You are not alone. The title. They told her, holy crap, I didn't know Gabby could dance. Right? So So that probably pissed her off even more, because you're like, holy shit, I'm with someone who can dance amazingly and yet he won't dance. So all of that stuff happened. I mean, it's a shame. I mean, like, she was like, I'm 36, she was 21, you know, so I had like all the youth, and she was very smart and drop dead gorgeous, all that stuff you want. But you know, having a mother who was a violent mafia person is not really the best thing. If she walked in the door today, yeah. See, after a while, she started to piss me off. In the grocery stores, Jeremiah was a bullfrog. I'm gonna have to listen to this now. But there would be lots of things, for example, like, and this is where the autism comes in a lot as well. So your glasses said Jack Bean. That's right, Jack and the Beanstalk. So, like, for example, she'd give me a plate of strawberries, and I would eat them. And she said, "How come you didn't leave half for me?" Now, my brain doesn't know these rules until you explain it to me. So she learned after that every time she gave me a plate of strawberries, she'd say, "I'm giving you a plate of strawberries, but half are for me." And then I would leave half for her. That's it. But what humans naturally think is that this guy's selfish or whatever. No, they just haven't been explained the rules, and the autist doesn't pick up those rules naturally. I won't dance with another living soul. James the One. Now that's some loyalty, my friend. It turns out that after work, she wanted to come home and me be there. You hate rules. You have to learn your partner. Yeah. So anyway, the biggest thing I learned was the emotional refilling, which I think was exacerbated by the autism, in the sense that some of the stuff I did was maybe way more extreme, but it's the same thing. Have to learn the love language, yeah. Everyone's different. So there you go. It was a very, very interesting experience. 3 years with one person, but you got that right. Wish there was a rule book sometimes. Well, my plan is to write an autistic neurotypical translation dictionary, which I think will cover this stuff as well. But that's a massive project. I have to get this book out. I've got to sell 500,000 copies first, and then I've got to publish some stuff on quantum gravity next year. And you have to read minds. Sorry it ended. No, that's okay. That's life. You live and learn. It's like, for example, my ex-fiance 12 years ago, she gave me, yeah, thank you, yeah. She gave me the ring back, and she said, "Propose to me when you're ready." And it wasn't even 3 years. Wow. The Devil's Dictionary, yeah. And I thought that she was giving me the ring back because she wanted me to leave. It turns out she wanted me to re-propose when I was ready, but I thought I was ready, so that's why I thought she was telling me to read. Yeah. So then it turns out I left her, but I didn't find out till years later that she wanted me to stay and I wanted her to stay. So it's very bizarre. A different person have another outcome. This is true. This is true. So what you do is, with all the different relationships, you find the one thing that perhaps falls under the banner of autism, and then all the rest is stuff that regular humans share as well, I think. Anyway, my coffee is finished, guys, so I've got to go back in and do some quantum mechanics. That was a lot of fun. Nothing like living through a broken heart. Gotta happen. Yeah, very true, very true. Well, there's a lot of those in the book. When you see, I had the worst combination of being attractive to women, but not knowing how to speak to them. So there's a lot of embarrassing situations. Trust and communication is best. Good share. Oh, well, you guys shared more than me, which is great. I love that. I love it when you guys jump in and throw in all your thoughts. It's $5. You can get it from Ex Libris or Barnes & Noble or freaking, what's the other one? Amazon. Love you guys, man. Take life one smack at a time. Gab smacked.